Let us say hello to Tyron Woodley, who's kind enough to be joining us. There he is. Tyron Woodley, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing, Ariel?
I'm doing well. Thank you for doing this, Tyron. I really appreciate it. So tell us what happened.
A lot of people don't recognize that when I had a CMC joint repair. So when I fought against Darren Till, in the first round, I threw a punch and I hit him with actually my thumb. The way he blocked, he stepped in. I hit the hard part of his skull, and that point, they hit like the joint of my thumb right here, and it basically popped the bone up. It didn't break it, but it tore all the ligaments that attached it. So my hand was basically at a state of dislocation, and it was just extreme pain. I actually considered fighting Kobe Covington in New York very few weeks afterwards, and I just had to be real with myself. I wasn't able to grab, I wasn't able to pinch, I wasn't able to snap. So I began to rehab this hand, and then the Kamaru Usman fight came up. And one thing about me, and especially in this sport, there's been so many fights. I can't remember the last fight I didn't go into the fight with an injury. But once I signed on the dotted line, I commit to it. And win, lose, or draw, you never hear about it. Like, I had a torn hamstring and growing when I fought Robbie the first time. My shoulder wasn't quite recovered from the Damian Maia fight when I fought against Darren Till. But these are things that I've masked and I've hid. And if I win, I win. If I lose, I lose. When I sign the dotted line, I commit to it. I got to the point in this camp where I started out training, and like I did with the Usman fight, I just kind of put it in the back burner. And I overly rely on adrenaline. There's been times where I've been within a fight. I threw a crazy kick against Kelvin Gastelum, broke my foot in the first strike of the fight. And adrenaline carried me throughout the way. I punched Darren Till, shattered my fucking hand, tore all kind of ligaments. And then I just went to go on the elbow instead of punching. And I knew that it would be better to win the fight than to lose the fight with that injury, because now it's going to be almost double jeopardy. So you can only do that so long in your career. And in my career, been fighting since 2005, this is the first time I've been committed to a fight, and I had to be real with myself. I was punching, throwing combinations, and Duke was holding the pad, and I was hitting it, and it was feeling kind of weird. And, you know how they do the countdown and stuff, they film it and stuff like that. So I'm trying to, give the fans what y'all want to see, but I can't really throw my hand like I want to throw it. Then I get into a light training session, like MMA sparring, and I go to throw overhand right, my thumb hits that area, and I defend the takedown, and I have to post and I have to plant my hand. And I felt the shift, and I felt it inflamed, and it got to the point where I was like, am I really going to be able to do this fight in June? Am I really going to be able to avoid properly rehabbing my hand once again and maybe further damaging it? And I just started thinking about me trying to zip up, trying to snap, trying to pick my dart up. And I said, I got to be real, And I try to do my best to tough it out, and also try to give the UFC's brass enough notice where if this is a situation where they need to refill the slot or get a different bout or get Robbie another opponent, that they would have enough time to do that. So I was trying to do a solid in that situation because, I know it's probably a pain in the ass for them to have to replace a main event, especially a fight, a rematch of two former champions. To try to put somebody in that slot would be hard. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Do you need surgery?
I pray I do not. I'm tired of fucking surgery. I just had surgery on my foot, had surgery on my shoulder, had surgery on my hand. In moments, I'm going to the physical therapy center here in LA. The UFC was kind enough to set me up with the very best hand specialist they have. So I'm going to do physical therapy first, and then I'm going to go to the hand specialist. He's going to look at my MRI. He's going to evaluate my hand, and he's going to see what the next step is. I pray that I don't have to have anything done to it. That's definitely not what I need back. I'm on the road back to the throne, man. I'm ready to get my belt back, ready to go back out there and take what's mine, and I don't need another surgical setback.
So I'll be honest with you. I feel like there's a silver lining in all of this, and you tell me if you feel otherwise. I didn't like this fight for you because I feel like it would have been very hard for you to top the way you beat Robbie Lawler at UFC 201. That was a spectacular finish. And, even if you win via third round KO as opposed to first round KO, if you win via decision, they say, oh, it wasn't as good as the first time. And also, it felt like maybe you needed some time off after what happened against Kamaru Usman. And so maybe this could be a blessing in disguise. Am I crazy here?
You're not crazy. I think everything adds up. Like sometimes I've been in situations where I want to go, 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 go. And God has a funny way of sitting us down. If I leave it up to myself, I'd have been in the octagon June 29th. And there's been times where I've had injuries. When I had my foot surgery, I was forced to sit down. I was forced to take some time away from traveling. I ended up having a blood clot in my calf when I was scheduled to fight. Um, I was scheduled to fight Johnny Hendricks. I had a blood clot in my calf, and I couldn't travel. I couldn't be in altitude the way that I wanted to, and I had to put down some work, some gigs. And I think sometimes God has a way of getting you to listen and maybe take that time to evaluate yourself, evaluate your training, evaluate your circle, your approach on the sport. And those are the moments where I've sat down and I really made some exponential growth as a person, as a man, as a father, and also as a fighter. So, of course, I want to be in there. You know, you're only as good as your last performance. It's my job to go back out there and negate my last performance with a phenomenal one. So I don't understand why certain things happen, but I'm starting to learn as I get a little bit older to quit questioning things. I agree with you. This fight wasn't as much for me as it was for Robbie. I don't need to prove anything. This is a guy that I took his belt from. I took his ability to earn pay-per-view. I took his ability to have a larger platform and fight. He wants his fight back. You know what I mean? And for me, it was just me making a strong statement to the UFC and to everybody else that, okay, this is who you guys want me to fight? Okay, I'll fight him. You guys want me to fight this guy? All right, fight him. That's what the fans want to see. The fans want to see somebody to fight anywhere, anytime. The UFC loves the same thing. So this was my gesture. Though on paper it doesn't make a lot of sense for me to fight Robbie, if this is a fight you guys want me to do, let me go out there and do it, and let me do it better. And my motivation was to not allow him to have a chance to get back, not allow him to have a chance to retaliate, and also just go out there and defy the odds once more and win a fight that really maybe didn't make a lot of sense for my career to take.
I spoke to you a month or so after the Usman fight. Now we're 2.5 months later. What is life like after that fight without the belt? How are you handling it?
I burned. Definitely burned. And I was going through a point where I just got to be honest with yourself. Like, the belt wasn't everything to me. It wasn't. I stand by that. I do so many other things outside of fighter. You know, it's a slogan that LeBron uses, more than athletes. And I'm truly the definition of being more than athlete. I don't know any other UFC fighter that has diversified himself to the level that I've diversified myself as an entertainer, as a fighter, as an analyst, as a host, as a father, as an entrepreneur. I have my hands in so many different formats of entertainment that I've really shown that nobody can ever take that away and they can never question that. But when you lose a belt, the platform that existed from being a champion, also the opportunities that existed as being a champion, not that those things are going away, but it's quite a bit different. And I've seen Usman so many damn times since the fight. If he's a guest fighter, if I've seen him in Brazil, seen him in Atlanta. And I told him the other day, I was like, man, if I see your ass one more time, dog, I'm tired of seeing you. I'm tired of seeing you coming out the cut with this damn belt. You just so happen to have the belt in Starbucks. You just so happen to have the belt in the bathroom. And from nowhere, like Mr. What's that movie where Adam Sandler was Mr. Deeds? Very,
Yeah.
very sneaky. That motherfucker popped that belt out from anywhere. And he should be happy. And, I want to allow him to have his moment because he earned that. He beat me. Um, he was focused. He executed the game plan against, which I'm going to argue that I'm the best welterweight of all time. But now it's my chance to come back. It's my chance to show the fans and the people how great I am. That's what George St. Pierre did when he avenged his loss against Matt Serra and Matt Hughes. He wouldn't have not been the greatest of all time had he not done that. Had he crawled up under a rock and cried over spilled milk after losing a fight, he would have not had the legacy. So now it's my chance to go back out there and capture what's mine.
So when you see him, do you actually talk to him, or is it a little weird?
Nah, I'm making my business to talk to him. Even if he doesn't see me, I can't disrespect him. What I got against him? He's a competitor. He's trying to change his life. He's got a daughter. He want to show her that all things are possible. And the Nigerian culture is all of a sudden we see this huge wave for the Nigerian fighters. Partly is because many people may not have thought he was going to beat me. They didn't have a marketing plan for him afterward. And the easiest and the strongest push that you can have for him, especially with Israel Adesanya, to really push the Nigerian market. When have we ever had a push for the African market? We've never had that before. So like I said before, this is his moment to be the champion. He won a belt fair and square. I'll never take that away from any fighter. It takes too long to get to that point. It's a lot of focus, a lot of interviews, a lot of stuff to go into just the fight beyond just actually competing and going out there and fighting. And I wouldn't allow him to have that moment. But don't get too comfortable, bro. I'm coming for my belt. I'm coming for my throne. And I will show the world that I'm the greatest welterweight of all time.
How many times have you watched that fight?
I won't watch it. There's no point in me watching it because it wasn't really me fighting. It was like an out of body experience. So for me to go back down and watch the fight and find out what I did right and what I did wrong, it's going to be me evaluating. It's like him fighting RDA and me watching the film and him fighting RDA. That does nothing for me. So the small clips that I see on social media, I'm like, I let him take me down with that. Like he was punching at me like that and I did knock him out. Like if I would have been fighting me, Ariel, the way that I saw myself looking and feeling in the first round, if my opponent was myself and I was the one that was against the cage looking like I was having a bad dream, I would have knocked myself the hell out on everything. There's no way I would have allowed myself out of that fight. And if it was Robbie Lawler, he wouldn't have allowed me out of that fight. There's just certain guys that they smell blood. And if you see somebody on life support, they're willing to pull a plug. And that's what I would have done to myself. So I'm blessed to a certain degree that I didn't really get hurt that bad in that fight. My ego got hurt. My pride got hurt. I lost something that was very valuable to me and my family and something I worked very hard for. And I did it against all the odds. I did it against a lot of adversity. I did it against a lot of politics. I did it against the best guys in the world. I wasn't fighting the super fights. I was fighting the specialists, number one contenders, people that the rest of the division had a terrible time trying to figure out the puzzle. And it meant something to me. So looking back, those clips, me and my coaching staff, Duke, Dean, Eric, we've all decided that don't make sense to look at it. Let's just shake it off. Let's just get yourself together. Let's clear your head out, my man. Let's get back on the ball. Let's make training fun again. And let's go out there and get what's ours. You know, we ain't finna go out like that. You think I'm gonna just go out and just let that shit happen and not go for my belt again? No, I ain't built like that. I come from nothing. So, you know, obviously you don't ever want to go back and experience that. But I've been through way worse than losing a belt. I've been chased. I've been shot at. I've been freaking in gang fights. I've been, ran from 15 people chasing me. Fighting ain't that scary to me. It's really not.
You know, you mentioned all the stuff that you've been through, and it somewhat reminded me of what we heard from Rose last week. And she said that she was actually relieved after losing the fight to Andrade and losing her belt subsequently. Is there any part of you that shares those sentiments, sympathizes with what she was saying in terms of like, now you don't have to deal with all those politics? Now, I know you want to get right back in there, but is there a part of you that is just somewhat relieved that you don't have to go through that, at least right now?
I had a long talk with Pat. I had a long talk with Rose. And we just started talking about mental health. And we started talking about the pressure. And I have committed mentally, and I haven't started this yet, but I've committed mentally to start a support group for the UFC, a support group for fighters, because we are taught so many times, more times than not, to go against each other, to talk shit against each other, to have bad blood against each other. But we are our strongest network if you really think about it. If I got a project coming out, movie, music, the whole UFC roster should push that. If they got something coming out, a movie, a book, artwork, something outside the UFC, we should be able to tap into that network. And that shouldn't stop with just other projects. That should go into and having a conversation, because as I talk to Pat and I talk to Rose, I can really attest to a lot of stuff that she went through. I can attest to a lot of stuff from a mental standpoint, how this becomes pressure. I'm different than her. I'm built different. She just want to fight and have fun. I'm built for this shit. I'm built for the politics. I've endured it. I've endured it this whole time. If I wasn't built for it, I would have never been able to sustain my championship status. I was devastated. I was the opposite. I became used to the pressure. I became used to the haters. I became used to all the things that went with the champion. Quiet as kept, I was the best champion the UFC had when it came down to needing somebody that would be marketable, somebody that would represent the UFC with integrity, somebody that would come out there and fight the number one contender time and time again, the person that would always show up and be professional, always show up and make weight, always show up and answer the questions, win, lose, or draw. When have you ever seen me shy away from an interview? I did interviews after I got knocked out by Marquez, interviews after I lost to Jake Shields, interviews after I lost to Kamar Usman. I never shied away from the positive feedback or the negative feedback, the negative comments in my inboxes or the positive one. I really formed a way to become indifferent because our fans are like the leaves that blow in a tree. One time they're on this side of the fence, other time they blow over to the other side. So I recognize that, and I don't really take it to heart. So I'm devastated. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Like that means something to me, and it's an empty void there. And many people hit me up, and it's like it don't feel right that he the champion. I mean, you look like the champion, you act like the champion, you encompass everything that is a champion. And I'm not knocking him saying that he doesn't, but as far as someone that's suited for that throne and that seat, you know, I feel like that seat's mine. I got cozy in there. I had to break in the leather in that seat, and it took a long time to do that. And enjoy it, keep it warm, but I'm coming back for it.
Is there any part of you that feels like maybe you put too much on your plate in hindsight? You've got so much going on with the movies and the music. You just got a lot. You mentioned all the stuff. You're a father. Like, do you feel like maybe you need to clear some stuff in order to get back on that path to get the belt?
I don't think it was too much on my plate. The thing about it is I've always had so much on my plate, and the fans are just now getting to see that because I've given you access.
Mm.
I've shown you Champ Camp and Champ Life, and I've shown you me doing Jeopardy, Wilding Out, Hawaii 5-0, dropping the album, doing a release party. But I've been doing that stuff behind the scenes forever. The record that I did, I mean, I let you hear some of the stuff before it came out, way back when. This album's been recorded for almost a year. I just try to use a proper platform that after a big victory to try to utilize that to really generate the wave and ride the wave out. So it's really a marketing strategy. There's things that maybe I could have shelved to a different time. Maybe a few songs that weren't on this current album, maybe I could have waited on them. Maybe some of distractive or some crazy arguments or whatever thing that took my mind space away. I got to micromanage, but I am best. I am best when I'm in chaos,
Mm.
and I had to come to grips with that. I heard John Jones said a while, he didn't train in between camps. I'm like, damn, I thought I was the only one. It was kind of my hidden secret. And if you notice, John, not to compare myself to John, because in my opinion, he may be the best MMA athlete we've ever seen. But John has had so much chaos in his life outside the octagon, but he's always managed to hone in inside the octagon. And I found that don't run from it. Don't hide from it. God built you a certain way. And I say this time and time again, the Renaissance man was a man that did a lot of things good, but did no things great. That was his ass. That ain't me.
Mm.
I won't sit on gifts. I won't sit on gifts that God gave me because if you sit on it, you bury them, they get taken away. Somebody else do it. So I'm going to exalt God whatever way I can, whether it's through fighting, whether it's through music, whether it's through entrepreneurship. I'm probably going to be the best in public speaking. I'm telling these stories and how I made it through and how I, came from Ferguson and through all the odds, I found a way to be successful. I'm going to be a better public speaker. I'm going to inspire more people. And I'm going to motivate more people that are like-minded or came from a similar background or maybe had the same complexion. I'm going to be able to get through to them better than somebody that hasn't. And that's what my end goal is. So I need my platform back. I need my throne back. I need for people to see me fall down. It's like I crawled up like Spider-Man in Empire State Building area. And I'm all the way to the top. It took so long, so many years. So many people thought I was crazy for even attempting doing it. I got all the way up there, right? And I lose my powers at the top. I feel like in that fight I had a battery pack snatched out of my back, and I just downloaded it. And then the fall from the top is so public, it's so embarrassing, and everybody sees it. And it takes so long, and then when you hit that rock bottom, you look up, and it began to become intimidating. Damn, I worked so hard to get up there, and it makes you feel like it's going to be so hard to get back to the top. But that's the trick of the enemy. I got there once, I got there twice, and now it's going to be a third time. We're going to make that run. I'm going to get my belt back, and I'm going to end this goal.
You're the man, Tyron. I appreciate you doing this. Get well soon. I hope your hand, improves and you could take some time to get back to 100%, and then you could get those big fights to get you back on track to getting that title. I really appreciate you doing this on short notice, Tyron. Thank you so much.
No worries.